Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the AEW Rampage review for the 20th of August 2021. Obviously, the biggest Rampage show. Not that that's a big deal because they've only had this is the second one, but at the same time, biggest Rampage show in the short show's history, and also the biggest AEW show, known as the First Dance here. And obviously, it is big for one major reason. Of course, that reason is the debut of one CM Punk, obviously. Jim Ross, Excalibur, Mark Henry, and Taz hosted as Chris Jericho is absent and reflecting on his loss to MJF on Wednesday. Crowd is announced as 15,316 people, and the crowd is chanting for Punk. Punk comes out after a 7-year absence to the Cult of Personality song blaring through the arena, and he makes his return to national televised wrestling. I think I would say to me, this is as big as something like Mick Foley winning the championship or the debut of Nitro. I mean, this was huge, and and to be completely honest, I mean, I've been a wrestling fan at this point for almost 33 years. It'll be 33 years in 2022. And the thing of it is, this are the moments that people live for, but WWE needs to be on guard. A 2-year-old company just schooled them and gave a generational value story here. Anyway, he stands on the ramp and walks down to the ring, soaking in the cheers, chants from the crowd. He tries to do kind of a crowd dive and hugs several fans at ringside. Um, anyway, so after Punk gets the mic, they take a commercial break and he speaks to the crowd. Punk is back in the ring and listening to the fans chant his name, and he is obviously emotional with uh, the welcome, and so he opens with a line that says, "You know, how to make a kid feel like Britt Baker in Pittsburgh," which is cool. Um, he said he didn't plan what he was going to say. He knew he had to be out in front of the crowd and feel it. Crowd continues to chant for him, and this is probably obviously first time he's heard the chant in 7 years, but also the hottest AEW crowd to date. Punk doesn't have time to get into everything tonight, but he's got every Wednesday and Friday and 4 Saturdays or Sundays a year. He's not going anywhere. Punk explained that he had to leave for 7 years because he was never going to get physically or emotionally well if he stayed in the place he was. He asks the crowd if he can tell them a story, and then he sits down, tells the story of how he left Ring of Honor in 2005 and how he cried because he was leaving a place he loved and the people that could learn how to wrestle and loved wrestling. And he knew the place where he was going wasn't going to be that for a guy like him. And then Punk said he left professional wrestling on August 13th, 2005, and now tonight he's back in professional wrestling. Punk is back to work with the young talent, and he wanted to be surrounded by 10 years ago, and he's back to settle some scores in the locker room as well. Punk calls out Darby Allin, and the camera found Sting standing in the rafters. Punk praised Allin, calling him as tough as people in Chicago. Punk tells Allin that there's only one thing tougher than fighting, and that's CM Punk fighting things off in Chicago. Punk challenges Allin to a match it all out in Chicago. Punk ends the promo telling fans that 7 years is a long time to wait for someone and to grab a free ice cream bar on him as they leave the building. This is, like I said, this to me is the best thing to happen, at least in the last decade, if not longer, in pro wrestling. This is amazing, and if you are a wrestling fan at any level, go out of your way to watch this, even if you don't like Punk. In the back, Christian Cage tries to motivate Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy before their tag team tournament match, which is up next. Tag Team Eliminator Tournament semifinal. Jurassic Express with Marco Stunt defeated Private Party with Matt Hardy to advance. 10 minutes, 10 seconds. Young Bucks and their uh, hired lackey are here. come to the stage to watch, and the Lucha Brothers and Varsity Blondes are watching from the crowd as well. Isaiah Cassidy and Jungle Boy start out, and they have a decent enough exchange, ending in a double nip-up. If you like the gymnastic choreograph stuff, you would enjoy this. If you don't, it's going to annoy you. Mark Quinn comes in, eats a dropkick from Jungle Boy. Heels try to draw Luchasaurus into the ring and draw the referee away from the action. Hardy and Private Party triple team Jungle Boy and get the advantage. Match goes picture-in-a-picture commercial. And then they continue the double teaming on the floor after Jungle Boy takes a beating. One member of Private Party gets hit with a dropkick and another with a hard clothesline. And finally gets tagged to Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus destroys both members of Private Party with a bunch of power moves. Jurassic Express tries to go for the stacked superplex on Cassidy, but he turns it into a amazing Canadian Destroyer. I don't like the move, but it was used well here, and it made sense here. Anyway, so gets run off. 2 count. Quinn follows up with a shooting star press on Luchasaurus to the floor. Back in the ring, Private Party goes for the silly string. Jurassic Express counters into a cutter for near fall. Matt Hardy tries to get a distraction, and Cassidy gets a pin attempt with a roll up. Private Party goes for the gin and juice. Jungle Boy counters with a spinning DDT. Jurassic Express hits double team powerbomb on Quinn for the 3 count and ends a great enough match. And again, the right team wins here. In terms of Jurassic Express beating the Bucks seems like a really good idea. Anyway, Jade Cargill with Mark Sterling defeats Kara Hogan in 102. Not necessarily a fan of a match being this short. Video package previews both competitors before the match, which lasted longer than the match. Cargill is 9-0. I thought it was 10-0. Maybe the announcers misspoke somewhere in there. Hogan's acknowledges 2-time Impact Knockouts Tag Team Champion. And Hogan gets in a little bit of offense, but a match that goes 62 seconds, you're not going to get a lot. Cargill hits her with a pump kick and the double chicken wing into the face for a slam. Gets her the win. Post the recap of Punk's return. His first Dynamite appearance will be confirmed for Wednesday, and also confirmed for next Friday's Rampage is the finals of the tag team tournament to get a shot at the Young Bucks at the All Out pay-per-view. Mark Henry moderates a dueling promo between Jon Moxley and Danny Garcia with 2.0. Garcia said he's a star and he has to beat Moxley tonight. Moxley promised to commit something that looks like an assault against Garcia. Jon Moxley, obviously with Eddie Kingston, defeats Daniel Garcia with 2.0 in 404. Moxley starts with a backdrop suplex and a bunch of stiff strikes. Garcia counters by attacking Moxley's legs. Moxley countered that and goes for cross arm breaker. Garcia comes back with hammer fist, but walks into a boot with a pair of German suplexes. Moxley then goes for the third German suplex, but Garcia counters into an ankle lock, and Moxley had to go get to the ropes to force the break. Moxley comes back with a solid clothesline, forearms, and headbutts. Moxley goes for the paradigm shift. Garcia counters into a scorpion deathlock. Garcia leaned back too far. Moxley counters, grabbing the bulldog choke for the submission. Post-match, 2.0 and Garcia attack Moxley. Kingston, Sting, and Darby Allin run in to even the odds. Members of 2.0 get a stinger splash from Sting, and Allin hits them both with a coffin drop. Moxley, Kingston, Sting, and Allin stand tall to close the show. As far as a 1-hour show goes, I think this is probably the best wrestling show that's been on in... Oh, gosh. I mean, are we talking a Nitro? I mean, yes, there's squash matches, but that's not the point. The star power of the show, the feel of the show, it felt like something happening that was important. You could imagine a non-fan going, turn this on, you're not gonna believe what's happening, or a lapsed fan returning. AEW has something. I don't agree with half the talent they have under contract, but what I will say is they care about the fans, and it's coming across quite well. We'll be back with more right after this.